With great power should come great responsibility. Yet the United States of America refuses to address its soaring homelessness crisis as President-elect Donald Trump and Republican lawmakers prioritize tax cuts for America's billionaires above everything else. Welcome to the No Spin Zone. Graph's Grievances starts right now. As the new year begins, tragically, more people in the United States are homeless than ever before. According to a new report from the government, the number of people experiencing homelessness in the U.S. topped 770,000 in 2024. That staggering statistic representing an 18% increase over 2023. The largest annual increase since the count began in 2007. In essence, homelessness in America is getting much, much worse, with about 23 in every 10,000 people without shelter on a single night in 2024. As you can see here, homelessness rose by a third in the past 2 years after declining modestly over the previous decade. When broken down by demographic group, the report finding families with children seeing the largest increase in homelessness, growing 39% between 2023 and 2024. Meaning nearly 150,000 children experienced homelessness in the United States last year. But it's not just children. Homelessness is at record highs with nearly every demographic group. The report finding more than 140,000 people over the age of 55 going unhoused in 2024. And at a time when many across the ideological spectrum are questioning or outright dismissing the extent or existence of racial inequality in America, the report finding Black Americans bearing a disproportionate burden of the crisis. Despite comprising just 12% of the U.S. population, 32% of those experiencing homelessness today in America are Black. As for what is to blame for this surging crisis, multiple reasons are cited, from stagnant wages, inflation, migration, and natural disasters. But at the core of the problem appears to be the lack of affordable housing in the United States. According to the Center for American Progress, demand for homes is higher than supply in nearly every community and every region of the U.S., with researchers estimating the United States has 3.8 million fewer homes than it needs. This lack of supply driving up prices from coast to coast. As for why more homes are not being built, that is slightly more complex. But it comes down to developers finding it harder to raise money and homeowners finding it harder to get loans. And that is because banks and the government have raised lending standards and made mortgages harder to get in order to prevent another housing bubble. Inflation and higher than average interest rates have also not helped. But despite all of this bad news, one major solution to America's homelessness crisis is right in front of us and has been proven to work. The only group of individuals who did not see an increase in homelessness over the past year was veterans. In fact, the report finding the number of homeless veterans falling by 8% over last year and falling by more than half since 2008. Why was that? Because since 2008, the federal government has spent billions of dollars on rental aid for unhoused veterans. Notably, the bipartisan rental aid comes with no conditions and has taken hundreds of thousands of veterans off the streets and into homes. So why has this kind of support not been extended to other Americans? Because Republicans have decided they would rather prioritize tax cuts for the wealthiest than helping poor people. In 2023, now Vice President J.D. Vance held multiple hearings in the Senate to argue that prioritizing helping homeless people get housed somehow exacerbated homelessness by ignoring what he says are the root causes of the crisis. This paradoxical argument, which has been proven false by the rapidly falling number of homeless veterans, has nevertheless taken hold in today's Republican Party. President-elect Donald Trump now promising to place homeless people in, quote, tent cities.
We will then open up large parcels of inexpensive land, bring in doctors, psychiatrists, social workers, and drug rehab specialists, and create tent cities where the homeless can be relocated and their problems identified.
Not sure how that will solve any problems, but what certainly won't help is Trump's plan to eliminate the federal income tax, cut the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%, and extend his 2017 tax cut for the wealthiest Americans. All that will do is cost the government an estimated $15 trillion over 10 years, and on top of the $22 trillion the United States is already expected to add to the debt over that time. And notably, not increasing economic growth, according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. Will Trump be able to accomplish all of this? Remains to be seen. But if there is one thing that has been shown to unite Republicans, it's tax cuts. And they will very soon have total control of Washington. And perhaps you too want a tax cut. But what is important to remember here is that the cuts Trump is talking about will overwhelmingly benefit the top 10% of Americans, while the rest of us will have to cope with rising homelessness on our streets and fewer government services. Thank you for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, share. It really helps me grow this channel. And join me tomorrow for more.